So this is the desk post varnishing. It's come up quite a bit darker than it was, and the reason that the top right corner of the desk is so much darker than the rest is because when everything got trimmed down to the same thickness, that bit was actually the thinnest part of all of it, so it didn't really get trimmed very much at all. So the dark weathered exterior remained. So here we are several months on. The desk is now finished. Unfortunately, I didn't time-lapse the actual installation of it. There's actually a fair bit to talk about here. So first of all, we started by spray painting a piece of 2x4, which is essentially supporting the back of the desk. It runs all the way along. We then attached two legs at the front, and they're attached by a bolt that runs, so it's very hard to see, but there is actually a bolt that goes through between the leg and the bottom of the desk, and the same on the other side. The right hand side leg, we actually had to chisel out part of the skirting board to get it to fit, because I didn't plan ahead. But we found that the legs weren't particularly stable, so we actually had to use two L brackets to hold the leg in place very sturdily. And we used L brackets to fix the bottom of the desk to the 2x4 as well. The 2x4 is actually bolted into the studs in the wall. You can see the dual bolts that we used. Quite long screws actually, very, very long, very thick screws to hold it in place, because the desk weighs quite a bit. I reckon it came up really well with the varnish. It ended up really well. It's quite durable. There's this console shelf here on the right, which I also designed, and Tim helped me put it together. We started with the bottom panel fixed to the two side panels, and then on the underside of the desk we actually put these L brackets along. There's three of them running towards the back on each side, and they're fixing the sides to the underside of the desk. And each shelf is the same height, same spacing, so each console gets the same amount of space for its stuff, its power bricks and whatnot. And it's just the right height to fit Storm Dancer underneath on a little pedestal, so that there's not a huge amount of dust that gets underneath on the power supply filter. Yeah, so basically to get that in, what we had to do is we had to install the sides onto the bottom, then the sides onto the underside of the desk, and then we had to get the other two shelves in next by screwing screws in from the side into the shelf piece. Unfortunately, on the right hand side, because we didn't think about this, it actually gets really close to the wall, and so you can't fit a screwdriver in there. So what we had to do is we had to take the end out of a screwdriver piece for a drill, and then rotate that using a pair of pliers to get the screws in on the right hand side, which was quite difficult. So when we move into the streamer house, it's going to be quite a challenge to get those out again. But I probably won't have a whole bunch of consoles at that point anyway. It'll probably just be a PS4, maybe a PS4 Pro instead, and an Xbox One X. So I might not even have a console shelf. And the Storm Dancer is going to be migrating at that point, hopefully, into the Cerberus case instead of the giant, very tough, very excellent Cooler Master Case Pro 5, but it's just a little bit too big for what I need. I've got an M-ATX motherboard in there, and I don't need an enormous E-ATX case. It's complete overkill, and I don't have, 20 hard drives. I'm probably only going to have one mass storage drive. But yeah, so same spacing for the PS4 on the top, Xbox 360 in the middle, and the Xbox One on the bottom. And then conveniently, the left-hand side of the console shelf was the perfect size to mount all the power boards and the switch, my networking switch for all the gear that I've got in here, and for my Scarlett Solo. So perfect size. I did also have my Astro A40's mix amp thing just in front of where the switch was, but I didn't really end up using it that much because I discovered a cool little feature of OBS, so I no longer needed that. I chucked it out and gave the switch a little bit more breathing room. We also used two extra L brackets we had left over, bolted them together,
just 2 little bolts, and they're holding there nicely, screwed into the underside of the desk, and just hangs the headphones really conveniently. It's perfect. Perfect for what I need. Perfect size of desk. Nice standing height. It stands, the top of the desk surface is exactly 1100 millimeters above the floor, which is perfect for me actually. It ends up being just the right height for me to have a standing desk. Need to replace my lamp, but yeah, so the desk I've been using for months now, and it's absolutely perfect for what I use it for. It's just the right size. I just need to sort of clear things up, you know, and find another place for all those games. I got limited edition games I want to keep for as keepsakes, and get a USB tower together. My cool idea for a custom USB tower with easy charging for my 4 controllers. Unfortunately, we didn't time-lapse the construction of the desk itself, but it would have been nice, but missed opportunity. But hopefully when we go into the streamer house, I will get an opportunity to do that properly with a really nice professional camera, if this one's not professional enough for you. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this little clip, and I will catch you all next time.